I ain't gonna lie, ladies, our female listeners, for this first topic, I'm fake on your side. What's some of the stuff women say? Men, only thing men have is audacity. These two niggas, bro. These two niggas have the most audacity shit I ever heard in my life, Slick. Y'all over here creating broken homes, but Slick, go ahead. Start it off, because I ain't gonna lie. I'm mostly on women's side on this topic. I do kind of understand where they're coming from because of the individuals that they are, but that mindset is toxic. And Cam Newton, you ain't shit for that episode title on your YouTube channel. But Slick, go ahead.
All right. So this week, Cam Newton and Nick Cannon were interviewed by therapists who pretty much told them that they ain't shit politely. They did not take it well. Here's the first video.
A lot of people see my situation and not think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent of this saying? Or by your wife?
I just want God to bring them.
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Bryant, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, and disclaimer, the kids are innocent, they are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior.
Oh, wait.
These houses and put kids in these beautiful.
What do the girls say, Slick? 8 minus 2, 8. 6 plus 2, 8. Ain't that nigga? What would they say? No crumbs? Slick, go ahead, Slick. You the more mature one. This right. Nigga wildin'.
She is right. But I think from his point of view, he's a nigga with money who's always had whatever he wanted. So that's a different conversation than you go into a nigga in the projects and being like, yo, you got broken homes, you got 4 baby mamas, 7 kids that all live in the same building. It's a different conversation. So I think the reaction to it is definitely warranted, but it's a different situation. It's like, we not living that life. Not saying it's okay, but again, he can provide, and even with those children with his deficits, from his point of view, he's probably like, yo, I'm a multi-million, $100 million man. My kids have whatever they want type situation, even if I'm not there, kind of. Like, so he can kind of in his mind write out, even though it's not right. Whereas, again, the nigga in the projects with 4 or 5 baby mamas and, like, mad kids, he probably not doing that. He don't got the funds and the ends and the stuff, the time to do all that. So you think about that damage. And shit, this nigga's damage that they daddy's only kid or 1 or 2 kids. They ain't see that nigga. So I think that it definitely shines a light on, it's a very big outlier, but it is a big problem in the community when you think about, one, black men's lack of commitment and overindulgence in being willing to have children without, locking down that woman, whether it's married, whatever you call it, but the 2-family household, no broken family, no broken homes. But it also speaks to, again, like, ego and this idea that God, like, he put that on God. He's like, yo, whatever God wants to bless me with, like, nigga, you make $100 million, you can sleep with a lot of women that will give you a baby because they're gonna take that check. But what does that do to the kid? And it double downs on fear. A lot of niggas are scared to get married. We've said it on this podcast.
the most important part is, my nigga, you doing all this work. He's working hard, Slick. He has a bunch of shows that he's doing. He travels. So yeah, he's financially well for the kids, but are you going to be there emotionally for the kids? And this is by far the most stupidest shit I've heard. And ladies, I know we've been talking about marriage for the last few weeks. And we have expressed, at least I have expressed I like to say, just the pros and cons of marriage for a man. But ladies, I'm behind y'all 100% on the stupidity of this. Cam Newton, this was a dumb take, bro. Cause she is right. Cause it's not like you are not a hardworking person. So you working hard and you creating a whole bunch of. There's only 24 hours in a day, Slick.
That's a fact. You sleep 8 of them.
You're not going to be able to. They don't all live in the same house. They're not going to all go to the same school. As they get older, they're going to start seeing that, yeah, daddy don't have enough time for me. Yeah, I'm financially great. I'm not starving or anything, but my dad can't really make it to all the games.
I'm not starving physically. I'm starving emotionally.
Exactly. And even thinking of just Nick Cannon too. Similar situation. He has 6 baby mamas. How you managing all these baby mamas? And also with the broken homes, then the lady's gonna want a lot of man. Then now you're gonna have to fit the dynamic of her man and having that with your kids and everything, instead of just all having a wife and your kids all together. Black men, I understand marriage is not really on our side for the most part. It's really not. If you really want to go pros and cons, outside of the whole love stuff, ain't really that great for us. But please don't be fathering children outside of marriage like this. Now, granted, like you said, Slick, these are very successful men. So financially, they can take care of their kids. They could take care of multiple kids with no issues. But you being a father right now, you spending time with your child, you understand firsthand the emotional aspect of raising a kid. Yeah, it's great to be there financially. It's great for the basic necessity to be met. But can you tell me your kid's favorite color? Can you tell me what your kid does when they're upset, or how they come? Like, can you detail that?
That's real shit.
So I disagree with this man.
Oh, nobody's going to agree with it, but again, that's a different element, different facet of life that they in. That they feel like they can do that, and I think it's I think that as a community, again, it's something that won't happen. Similar to the music industry we talked about in the regular session, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a real conversation real quick. We have to really do a lot of brick by brick tear down and rebuilding what relationships look like amongst ourselves. Mm-hmm. I was watching, I think I sent it to you. I don't know, we're not talking about it on here, but I watched the video. This gentleman, this young lady were having a conversation about the benefits of relationships and this, that, and the third. And the gentleman got mad. Because the girl said that, he said that all men got relationships is sex. Right? He whittled down that. His woman told him no. He said, but look what you just did. I told you what most men felt, and you said you had a reason. You told me what a man felt. She said, no, I didn't. And it continued to tell what men felt. He was frustrated. And when you think about a lot of these red pill cop podcasts, a lot of these interviews with celebrities and therapists and things like that, it's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of pent up residual feelings that aren't even really ours. They come from our grandparents, our parents, our friends, just that we've seen our environment, what everyone is going through. And that's what makes us, I'd rather, I'm going to just have 3 baby mamas and, not get married and see my kids on a court ordered schedule, because it's easier than being married and having to deal with the mood swings and, the responsibility and the times where I don't like you and vice versa. And then, again, we always double down on the idea of like men and women, they develop differently. I seen sent you another video where it's like, hey, For in terms of what a lot of men feel about women is that a lot of women have a fairy tale, and a lot of us niggas ain't they fairy tale.
We're in the same interview. We're in the same interview that Cam Newton just had. She spoke to
she said that
most of her women clients. She has to break down the fantasy lore.
Yeah, so it's like when a lot of men realize that moment, we talk about hopelessness, but we feel hopeless. It's like, I'm not the nigga you always thought you was gonna end up with, but I'm what you got, and I got to deal with that. You respectfully. That's what it comes down. That's why I say like Cam and Nick are at a different stratosphere. While what they're doing is wrong, it's almost like because they have the money and they have the influence or whatever, it gets written off. A lot of times, like the moms don't care. Not to say they don't care, but it's like, all right, cool. At least I know my kid's getting the bread. I can do what I got to do. He'll be around whenever he can be around. You feel me?
Instead of two problems, you have one type stuff.
Essentially. And it's tough because I think, again, the way we rebuild this is we have to see each other as people. We have to respect each other. Love is cute and cool. It's a lot of niggas that love each other that can't stand each other. And I'm talking about family, friends, whatever. So really taking that time to take that step back and say like, yo, I fuck with you. Do I respect you? Like if I could go back, that's like the piece of advice I would give myself at like 13. Like, yeah, you can love and be all emotional and soft and shit, whatever, little nigga. But do you respect this young lady? And does this young lady respect you? Because if the answer is yes, you're going to move as well as you can. And another thing is, this might be controversial, do they deserve your respect? Ooh. Do you respect them because you see them like your mom's put in still? Because I had to think about, looking back, I did like a mental Rolodex. I was like, shit, respectfully, I'm going to say this is going to sound crazy. A lot of you hoes I respected, I shouldn't have. And some of you I didn't respect as much as I should have. Right? And that was predicated off of how my mama raised me and my grandmama raised me. I'm not saying that you didn't deserve respect, but I gave you way more of myself and my love and my credit than I should have. Right? And if you can read between those lines and see those things, it makes things so much easier to build. And I think that's how we start going about fixing it. But it comes with us teaching our children that. And unfortunately, it's like probably 3-4 generations removed. Like you have to instill that. I have to instill that in my kids. And have them instill that in their, hopefully they instill in their kids, and then maybe their kids have a fighting chance. It's tough.
This conversation always makes me sad because the hopelessness shit is true.
But it's like to identify the problem and be able to see a solution. A lot of times, like science, a lot of scientific solutions take decades to really come about. And I think the science of it's like sociology, the science of humans and the science of how we, as black people, how we've gotten to the points that we're at. And what does that look like? Because again, 60s, 70s thriving, crack the 80s, woo, 90s, early 2000s.
That came in.
Yeah, early 2000s, 2010s, okay. Then they changed the rules. Now we back in like, So I like again to like we should not be following that. Like I'm not trying to be a baby father. I'm not trying to have multiple children, multiple women. Like of course. That should happen at points, but that's not something you just strive. I'm gonna just keep nutting these women and have these babies, and then my kids gonna grow up feeling how I feel like, damn, my daddy not here every Christmas. Why he gotta show up at like 6 o'clock? You feel me?
Why do I have to 1 week go with my father, next week go with my mom?
Oh, some of us didn't get that option.
Yeah, but some of us had that, so it's kind of like that's not great, and you don't understand what psychological damage or even trait that you leave upon your kid with that, because now his kid might just be, all right, so I've seen this happen, so I'm okay with continuing this process. So as soon as we have a problem in our relationship, I'll just dip because my dad did that and he went and got a lot of women, and that continues the cycle.
Absolutely.
Cam, I ain't gonna lie, I said it before, that title was nasty, bro. To sit here and say she's 41 and a relationship goals, but you're still single. That was disgusting.
That was bad work. I've been fucking with his content too. That was just, but the ego it's tough because the ego is the most fragile thing it's probably the most important and also most fragile thing a man has. And she tore his down the way he didn't expect. She thought she was gonna roll with the shit when he was like, "Yeah, I got what God gives me." And nah, nigga, that's why I was like, "Ooh, in a relationship when a nigga has his ego destroyed or fractured, God bless you."
It's over. It's over. And if that man keeps you around, he doesn't respect himself.
That's a fact.
Honestly. Now, Slick,